Deep in the remote plains of the Tuli Block in southeastern Botswana, far from the bustling safari trails, lions have become a terrifying force of nature for small farming communities. These apex predators strike under cover of darkness, tearing through makeshift livestock pens, slaughtering goats, and dragging off cattle that can weigh more than half a ton. Each loss leaves families devastated, without food, without income, and without the oxen they depend on to till their fields. But the situation is spiraling out of control. How can these communities fight back? Could hunting be the last line of defense? Entire maize fields now lie abandoned as farmers spend sleepless nights guarding their herds, only to awaken to scenes of chaos, bloody crawls, missing animals, and shattered livelihoods. Reinforced fences, fire pits, guard dogs, even relocation efforts, every solution has been tried. Yet nothing seems to stop the sheer power and intelligence of the lions. Across the rugged grasslands of the Tuli Block, lions reign supreme, dominant predators that command both fear and respect. For generations, this wild frontier has been a place where survival hangs in the balance, a constant struggle between man and beast. Farmers battle to protect their herds from prowling lions, while hunters venture into the thorny plains seeking not just a challenge, but the ultimate test of skill and resolve. Hunting in this harsh terrain isn't for the faint of heart. It takes more than bravery. It demands patience, preparation, and an intimate understanding of the land. Out here, a lion hunt isn't merely about claiming a trophy. It's a confrontation between human willpower and raw nature itself. Every step requires discipline, respect, and an unshakable awareness that in the Tuli Block, one wrong move could make you the prey. When it comes to hunting lions, nothing matters more than having a rifle that delivers raw stopping power. A charging lion can weigh over 500 pounds and reach speeds close to 50 miles per hour, making smaller calibers virtually useless in a life-or-death encounter. That's why seasoned hunters rely on heavy hitters like the .375 H&H Magnum, .416 Rigby, or .458 Winchester Magnum, legendary cartridges known for their deep penetration and devastating impact. These rifles have earned their reputation across generations of African hunting. They're not just capable of taking down lions, but other dangerous game as well. Anything less risks disaster. A poorly placed shot or underpowered round can leave the lion wounded, and a wounded lion is among the deadliest adversaries in the wild, capable of turning defense into a full-blown charge in the blink of an eye. When it comes to ammunition, the choice of bullet can mean the difference between a clean hunt and a deadly mistake. In Botswana, most experienced hunters favor soft-point bullets, designed to expand on impact, tearing through muscle and vital organs while delivering maximum energy inside the animal. This expansion ensures a quick, ethical kill. In contrast, solid bullets, though excellent for thick-skinned game like elephants or buffalo, often punch straight through a lion without transferring enough stopping power. And in lion country, every second counts. Hunters always keep extra rounds close at hand, because if the first shot doesn't do the job, the next few moments could decide who walks away alive. Shot placement, however, is what truly separates a skilled marksman from a lucky one. The ideal target is the shoulder and chest cavity, where a well-placed bullet can penetrate the lungs and heart for an instant humane kill. A headshot might sound like the ultimate test of precision, but it's a gamble against the lion's thick skull and constant motion. One bad shot can turn a hunt into a fight for survival, as an enraged lion can close the distance in seconds. That's why hunters must steady their breath, calm their nerves, and pull the trigger only when the shot is clear. In the tall grass and rugged terrain of the Tuli Block, visibility can shift in an instant. One moment you have the lion in your sights, then it vanishes behind the brush. In this unforgiving landscape, a split second of hesitation or a poorly timed shot can turn a hunt into a fight for your life. Survival here also depends on the unmatched skill of local guides and trackers, men who've spent their entire lives reading the land and understanding the behavior of lions. They notice what others miss: a faint paw print in the dust, a freshly snapped twig, or the distant echo of a territorial roar. They know where the prides rest during the midday heat, and where they begin to prowl at dusk. Trusting their instincts isn't just smart, it's the only way to stay alive. In the wilds of the Tuli Block, their experience often draws the line between success and tragedy. In the vast, untamed wilds of the Tuli Block, the knowledge of seasoned guides often decide how the story ends, either in triumph or tragedy. Their instincts, sharpened by a lifetime on this land, can mean the difference between coming home with a trophy or never coming home at all. Just as vital, however, are the hunter's patience and endurance. Lion hunting is never a quick pursuit. It can take hours of tracking beneath the relentless African sun, crawling through thorns and dust, or waiting motionless in a blind as darkness closes in. Every sound sharpens attention: the crack of a branch, the distant rumble of a growl, the faint rustle of grass that might mean the lion is near. The hunter's heartbeat races, but even the slightest rush or careless movement can shatter the moment in an instant. Out here, patience isn't just a virtue, it's survival. Every decision, every breath determines the outcome of the hunt. So what do you think? Should hunting remain the primary method for managing lion populations in Botswana's Tuli Block? Or are there better, more sustainable solutions to explore? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow for more real-life adventures deep in the wild. Across America's farming heartlands, particularly in states like Texas and Florida, wild boars have become a destructive force. These invasive animals breed at alarming rates, tearing through fields in massive herds. They rip up soil, destroy crops, contaminate water sources, and even attack livestock, leaving behind billions of dollars in losses each year. At first light, our crew rolled out, trucks packed with seasoned hunters and cutting-edge gear. The mission was clear: head straight into the hardest-hit territory and push back the growing threat before farmers face another ruined season. As the sun broke the horizon, we reached our first hot zone, where the real fight was waiting. If you enjoy stories like this, make sure to hit subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss the next adventure. The brutal chill of a Texas winter seemed to lock the world in silence. Out here, every sense had to be razor-sharp. One footprint in the snow could reveal a trail, and the faintest rustle might signal danger. The mist clung low to the frozen ground, transforming the forest into a battlefield where every shadow could hide a threat. Then through the haze, a wild boar broke cover. In that instant, everything slowed. My finger tightened on the trigger. The shot cracked like a bolt of thunder, striking with deadly precision. The boar collapsed, and for a moment, the woods returned to stillness. It felt like the hunt was off to a strong start. But while my first encounter ended quickly, the mission was far from over. On the far side of the forest, my partner John stood watch, ready to face his own test as the morning unfolded. The world faded to silence behind John's noise-canceling headphones, leaving only the chill of the rifle stock pressed against his hands. Then it happened. A wild boar burst from the tree line, charging toward him with reckless force. Adrenaline surged. He steadied his aim, squeezed the trigger, and the beast crashed into the snow just yards away. Breathing heavy, John exhaled in relief. For now, the forest was still again. Meanwhile, David pushed through the bitter cold, following fresh tracks carved into the frozen hillside. The boar's destruction had already scarred the land, and every step reminded him of what was at stake. Suddenly, the animal's head appeared from the brush. Their eyes locked for a split second before it bolted, but the escape was short-lived. A single shot rang out, dropping the beast in an instant. Another life taken, another field saved. We pushed deeper into the forest, where the hunt turned into something far more dangerous. Thick trunks blocked our view, and every shadow or rustling bush could be hiding a threat. Step by step, we moved with caution, weaving around roots and fallen branches, relying on sharpened eyes and steady ears to guide us. Then through the scope, I caught sight of a massive wild boar entering our zone. It stopped behind a thick tree, ears twitching as if it sensed danger. I drew a steady breath, knowing I had only one chance. The trigger broke, the shot landed true, and the beast collapsed where it stood. The empty casing spun into the snow as the forest fell silent again. Another mission complete, another village safe. So tell me, was that shot a clean masterpiece or what? Our mission wasn't just about standing guard, it was about seeking out the strays before they could threaten nearby homes. Thomas moved carefully through the maze of bare tree trunks, every sense on high alert. Then he spotted it, a lone boar slipping through the brush. His pulse quickened as he steadied his aim, waiting for the right second. The rifle cracked, and the animal dropped where it stood. One clean shot, deep in the wild, kept the danger far from village. But by evening, the cold had cut through every layer of clothing, the weight of the day's pursuit pressing hard. On the way back, I stopped dead in my tracks. A massive boar stood ahead, head down, unaware of me, an unmissable final target. I raised my rifle, fired, and the beast fell without a sound. The hunt had ended in victory. As the sun vanished and the sky turned black, we climbed into the Tesla electric truck and drove home, closing out a long, hard, but meaningful day. From the first crack of gunfire in the frozen dawn to the tense pursuit through the forest by afternoon, every moment was driven by a single mission, safeguarding the village. None of it would have been possible without the teamwork of our crew, the support of local authorities, and the farmers who stood alongside us every step of the way. For us, the hunt is never just about eliminating a threat, it's also about giving back. Some of the boars will be prepared and shared with a community that continues to stand behind us. The rest will be sent to processing facilities, providing clean, quality meat for the market. Today's mission has ended, but the fight to protect our land is far from over. Thanks for being part of this journey with us. See you on the next hunt. Wild boars don't just search for food. They unleash havoc on fields and threaten the safety of entire communities. Thriving in the harshest conditions, they push human endurance to the breaking point. Yet through freezing winds or blistering heat, hunters press forward, rifles in hand, driven by grit and determination to face the fight head-on. But can they bring these beasts down? Every second is packed with tension, every shot a test of survival. Stay tuned and don't miss a moment, because the most unforgettable hunt is about to unfold. In the sub-zero chill of the French Alps, Nick's team pushed steadily through the snow, each hunter slipping into position with quiet precision. The forest stood frozen in silence until movement flickered behind the trees. A herd of wild boars broke into view, marching in a tight line across the clearing. One hunter steadied his rifle, locked onto the biggest of the group, and fired. The boar collapsed instantly, the rest scattering in chaos. The second shot dropped another straggler before the herd disappeared into the deep woods. That first strike set the tone for a ruthless day ahead. Using the tracking signal, Nick confirmed the herd's path and led his men to a perfect ambush point. Soon, dark shapes emerged from the snowy underbrush. The silence shattered as rifles cracked, echoing through the valley. Another boar hit the ground, its tracks ending in the snow. When the smoke cleared, only bodies lay scattered across the white landscape, a precise, calculated hunt that left no room for escape. From another vantage point, a hunter caught the outline of a boar moving in the trees. He didn't hesitate. One well-placed shot dropped the animal where it stood. Almost instantly, gunfire echoed from other positions as the team scored more hits. In minutes, the chaos was over. The monstrous herd lay defeated, and silence once again settled over the unforgiving, snow-covered mountains. Far to the south, on a rugged hillside in Morocco, the hunt reached its peak. The team had arrived before dawn, spreading out to seal off the hill. Their pack of dogs fanned across the terrain, noses to the ground, chasing every scent of the prey. Within 10 minutes, the signal came. A wild boar burst into Henry's line of sight, charging downhill. He raised his rifle, and a volley of shots cracked through the air, stopping the beast cold before it could vanish into the brush. Henry pressed on along the hillside, carefully tracing the last set of tracks. His binoculars scanned the brush until movement caught his eye. A massive boar pushing its way through the thickets across the slope. He steadied his aim, waiting until the beast stepped fully into the open. One squeeze of the trigger broke the silence. The shot echoed through the valley, and the boar crashed to the ground, motionless. Another hard-earned victory, and one more threat wiped from the land. Every hunt reminds us that this battle is about more than skill with a rifle. It's about responsibility. Wild boars are not just animals. They are an invasive force that could devastate farmland, threaten food security, and put communities at risk. Ethical hunting means knowing when to pull the trigger, respecting the land, and ensuring nothing goes to waste. As hunters, we carry both tradition and duty to protect, to preserve, and to pass on a knowledge of responsible wildlife management. The fight against these destructive invaders continues, and each story is another step in that journey. If you've enjoyed riding along with us today, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because the next hunt is coming, and you won't want to miss it. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're diving into a wild and gritty showdown, humans versus one of the most destructive invasive species on the planet. These animals aren't just a nuisance. They wreak havoc on entire ecosystems and devastate agricultural lands. This is the gripping story of a farmer's uphill battle to protect his livelihood from an unlikely enemy, the wild boar. It might look harmless at first glance, but don't be fooled, this creature is a walking wrecking ball. Just this past fall, deep in rural Texas, cornfields became ground zero for an all-out invasion. Dozens of feral hogs stormed the land, and what they left behind wasn't just damage, it was devastation. These beasts don't graze, they plunder. With noses that can sniff out food from miles away, they moved in with their young, tearing through crops meant for harvest, and leaving the soil looking like it had been through a war zone. In this story, we'll uncover how one simple misstep during planting season can open the door to disaster. When farmers don't take precautions, they risk losing everything before a single sprout breaks the soil. Wild boars are quick to seize the opportunity. They'll root up freshly planted seeds before they even have a chance to grow. Their heavy tracks are often the first sign of trouble, stamped clearly across the soft earth. And when they hit a cornfield, they don't nibble around the edges. They charge straight to the heart of it, tearing through rows like a wrecking crew. Corn isn't just food for wild boars. It's a full-course buffet packed with energy and nutrients. That's why they're drawn to it like magnets. These fields become their perfect hideout and feeding ground, offering both cover and calories. But what starts as a feast for the hogs quickly turns into a nightmare for farmers, as entire acres are leveled in a matter of hours. Across the U.S., wild boars are more than just a rural nuisance. They're a full-blown crisis, racking up an estimated $2.5 billion in damage every year. In Texas alone, during the peak of corn harvest season, the problem gets so out of hand that state agencies are forced to ramp up control efforts. But despite traps, fences, and coordinated hunts, the boar population keeps growing, and so does the destruction. For countless farmers, it's like fighting a losing battle, one field at a time. Sure, hunting wild hogs has become a favorite pastime for many sport shooters, but there's more to it than pulling a trigger. Legal restrictions and safety rules are critical, especially when hunting on private land or near crops. Hunters often lie in wait, moving quietly and taking careful aim when the animals let their guard down. Still, as thrilling as the hunt may be, it's only a temporary fix for a long-term problem. When wild boars tear through cornfields, they don't stop at the farm's edge. They often push into nearby neighborhoods, bringing chaos with them. Picture this, you're out for a casual bike ride past a quiet field, and out of nowhere, a wild hog bolts across your path, tearing through fences, brush, and anything in its way. These animals aren't just a threat to crops, they're a danger to people, pets, and property. While farmers have tried to hold the line with fences, traps, and deterrents, the results are hit or miss. Boars are smart, strong, and relentless, especially during harvest season. In some of the worst cases, entire teams of hogs have been known to decimate up to 50 acres of corn in a single night. That's not just frustrating, it's financially devastating. In a desperate effort to take back their land, some farmers have turned to night hunts right on their own property. But this isn't a job for amateurs. Tracking wild boars in the dark takes years of experience, a steady hand, and razor-sharp instincts. These animals move fast, travel in aggressive packs of 10 to 20, and don't give second chances. One misstep and they're gone. But the damage goes far beyond the fields. Wild boars aren't just crop killers, they're a full-blown ecological threat. They pollute water sources, endanger livestock, disrupt native wildlife, and even put people at risk. These invasive beasts will eat just about anything, from plants to small animals, even the remains of the dead. They're not just pests, they're a growing danger that's forcing rural communities to stay constantly on guard. Wild boars aren't just a rural problem anymore. They've been spotted digging through city dumpsters, spreading disease, and even bringing traffic to a halt as they charge through urban streets. This isn't just a nuisance, it's a growing crisis. The fight to protect our farmland, wildlife, and communities is intensifying, and the need for real, lasting solutions has never been more critical. But this battle goes far beyond cornfields. It's about safeguarding our environment, securing our food supply, and defending a way of life that's been built on the land for generations. So let's stand behind the farmers and ranchers on the front lines, because what they're fighting for affects us all. But wild boars are just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. Invasive species are wreaking havoc across the globe. Take Australia, for example, where an estimated 287 million feral rabbits have drastically transformed both the natural environment and farming landscapes. What started as a small population quickly spiraled into an ecological nightmare. And rabbits aren't the only issue. Australia has also been locked in a long-term struggle with other invasive animals like wild goats, feral camels, and the European red fox. Many of these species were brought over by European settlers centuries ago, intended for food, milk, or sport hunting. But once they escaped into the wild, they multiplied rapidly, outpacing native species and upsetting fragile ecosystems. To keep these invasive species in check, the Australian government has approved large-scale hunting of certain animals. In fact, some farmers have found a way to turn the problem into profit, capturing and selling invasive species to help offset the financial damage they've caused. So while the thrill of the hunt might draw headlines, the real takeaway here is this. Managing invasive species like wild boars and feral goats isn't just about pulling the trigger. It's about protecting ecosystems, supporting farmers, and preserving a way of life that's under siege. Responsible hunting, guided by science and regulation, can play a role, but it's only one piece of the puzzle. As our natural world faces mounting pressure, awareness and action matter more than ever. Thanks for tuning in. And if you care about wildlife, agriculture, and the future of our environment, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out our next video. The fight is far from over. This video is for educational and awareness purposes. All scenes follow local laws and ethical hunting guidelines.